guys. Yeah, I was gonna say this intro, it never not bangs ever. It's
the best,
the bangingest banger that ever did bang. Speaking of bang, like Jerry Vanilla, load it up.
Different. I'm right there with you.
What do you got?
I got Sourhead.
Oh, you weirdos, man. Sourhead. That sounds. I don't enjoy having sour taste in my mouth. You people that eat warheads and sour gummies and Danny's into that stuff. And we still have there's a swirly pop flavor that is just sitting in the fridge and it's gonna sit there and it's like a baking soda box. I ain't got no use for it. No, I don't know. What's up, chat? Happy Wednesday, right? Yeah, it's Wednesday. Let's move that to the side here. Lots of games tonight, a lot more than last night. And tonight involves some of our favorite teams. We were just talking before we went live about how if we had to put some splits out there on what slates are more lucrative for us, it really feels like if we had to say our winning percentages are higher when this team plays and this team plays, the Pacers, the Rockets, the Hornets, and all those teams are on the slate tonight. So I'm surely hoping that I don't have to make it. Dude, yesterday was ridiculous. You guys that watched my best bets video, I have it all written out. The video. I literally recorded half of it. Was about Zach LaVine threes. And then in the middle of recording that video, Zach LaVine gets downgraded to questionable. And then I was like, well, I guess Alex Caruso? and then Zach LaVine plays and crushes that prop that I was on. So that sucked. And then Cole Anthony, 4 assists at half. Thought he was going to just demolish that 5 to 5.5 assist prop. And he only gets one more. So he pushes, for those of you that got it early enough or didn't get it on at 5.5 or got it at 5, and then doesn't get there on the 5.5. And then I thought a plus 300 dart throw on Mitchell Robinson double-double was a positive bet. It wasn't. He was a good fantasy play because he had all the blocks and stocks in the world, but not quite. Not quite. What's up, everyone? Shout out to you guys. Man, a lot of you guys already here. Usually this is like the diesel engine to get us our stream going. We got this stream, and then immediately following this, me and Josh are going to run it back for another hour and a half, 2 hours, a little bit more of a DFS scope, but we'll be able to follow up, touch up, react to stuff, and we will still discuss props, but this show strictly the prop show, so usually it starts off slow, but you guys are out here. Shout out to Matthew W, Rich Homie, Quinn, Mia Moore, Chris Smith, Nate J, Eric in the chat, Chris Smith from the Department of Redundancy Department, Team Underground, Sebastian. You ever watch Parks and Rec?
A little bit, yeah. Back in the day,
it was constantly singing that song. I don't know. I haven't I'm not religiously into that show, but every time I watch it, I swear they're singing that. Maybe I just watch the same episode over and over, but I swear they sing this song about a horse named Sebastian. Rick, what up, Rick King? Steve Leibowitz says, I'm almost ready for some cold brew coffee in the fridge. Let's go. Shoot, I'm almost ready for some coffee. It was a little cold here. I woke up earlier, it was 40 degrees, so it was just seeping through this window. And I was like, what the heck? It's almost April. Chris said I did a fourth quarter rage bet on Clippers, won 300. I saw some of you guys in a free Discord. I saw some of the rage bet results, and it was a good thing. Let's go. Buddy that was in the top right yesterday who told us about Draymond under when it slipped for me. Yeah, and then we talked about how the Warriors just might straight up punt one of these games, and it turns out to be tonight, as we saw Draymond, Clay out, Otto Porter out, so it's going to be one of those nights where the Warriors are probably dramatically over-owned and probably not that impactful outside of like a Jordan Poole, right? What up, Fish fan? LFG Dolphins getting here. Tyreek Hill to the Miami Dolphins, man. The NFL, there's a lot of changes this offseason.
Yeah. What is it, like 9 Pro Bowlers have been traded already?
That's crazy. Like that. It's crazy. These leagues getting out of control, man.
Yeah, Dolphins, man. Shout out to Fish. I mean, they're making some serious moves. I think that some good signings and trades for them. So
Yeah, and we talked about the AFC West. The Chiefs, they probably don't want to lose one of their firepower. But I will say this, Tyreek Hill he's the speedster, and speed historically tends to not stay with you for long on the north side of 30. Yeah. Let me tell you what. Okay, I was a cross country runner at 29. Once I hit 30, bloated up. Let's go. That's a joke. I was never a cross country. Maybe the country buffet, but I don't know about that. Oh man. What up, Parker? What up, members of the body? What up, Kizar Khan? I appreciate that love, man. You guys are killing it today. Gunn and Josh in the lab. Yeah, one of us typically in the literal lab here. Let's open up the. Let's open up the RunDFS.com NBA VIP spreadsheet as we got Bing bong.
Let's go Dolphins get Hill. Fear the fish this year.
Fear the fish. Okay. Is that a thing? Fear the fish? I feel like that's just not a. That's not a fearsome sentence, you know. It's not like I guess fear the deer took off, but I don't know. Anyway, we got a lot of games, so I guess we really need to make hot points for this stream, right? Just a couple of maybe 5 or 6, 7 spots, and then on the following stream, we'll be able to go super in depth and maybe revisit a couple props that are out there. Bogdanovich of the Hawks, he had a good game last night in New York. We were all over Trae Young in the Garden, and that was fun to watch, and it was fun to get the results on. Bogdan was downgraded to questionable. Lou Williams, I believe, is out. So I guess Trae Young, if Trae Young was out there by himself, we'd certainly be on him for pretty much everything, right? Points and assists, but probably more so points here. Bogdanovich represented like 30 real points yesterday, so if he can't go, someone to keep an eye on. So we don't want to speculate now, but as news develops, maybe we can revisit that on the second stream. We got the Kings likely without Fox and Sabonis. I read a beat writer on Twitter yesterday speculate that he doesn't think Fox or Sabonis will play again this year for the Kings, so it could create a lot of opportunity for the next men up. Davion Mitchell, Dante DiVincenzo, guys like that in that front court. Going against the Pacers matchup that we often target since the All-Star break, but they have Halliburton questionable. So this is probably at least a spot where we can touch over. Josh, I don't know what games have props up, so I really just want to talk about stuff that does have props. Does this game have props that you want to talk about, the Pacers and Kings?
Unfortunately, it does not.
All right, so
I guess they're waiting. They're gonna wait for Halliburton news, and then there's nothing pending on the Kings side, right? I mean, everything's pretty much solidified, so I don't know why they're holding it.
I don't know, is Fox officially out? I had him doubtful.
I see doubtful still, right?
All right, so I guess that would be the holdup. He's not official. So there's nothing to talk about here, but I guess
they do have the Mavs and the Rocket prop, which was another key game for us, right?
All right. So we'll move there. I also want to touch on the Hornets. Hornets hosting the Knicks. Knicks list Julius Randle. I had him doubtful, but I think I might have saw out a minute ago.
He's out. Yeah, I'm surprised. So maybe, I just assumed he sat yesterday because it was the front of a back-to-back. But, yeah, something must be up with him. So.
All right. So, obviously, that would juice up something for RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett, 26.5 real points, 38.5 PRA. Don't have a fantasy prop on him yet. I would imagine I would be leaning the over on whatever it is. And Mitchell Robinson's absolutely going to double-double after yesterday. I think it's not even a question. After yesterday, he's at like 5 and 5. Yeah, he's definitely going to go nuts here. He's at 9.5 points.
We probably want his fantasy point prop, right?
Yeah. Is that even up? We're still lacking fantasy point props. All right. Yeah. So I want to see what they list RJ Barrett at. I got to imagine if his PRA is at 30.5, then his fantasy points probably going to be at like 45. Yeah. And I have him at 48. So nothing that's not obvious. Utah Jazz, Boston Celtics. Yeah, not in your dreams. Warriors, Heat, no. Nets, Grizzlies. All right, let's talk about the birthday boy, Nets and Grizzlies. Yeah. So this is an interesting spot because we've talked about the Memphis Grizzlies have turned into the Boston Celtics when Ja Morant is out. Like, their defense has been that good. Now, great defenses are great defenses, but Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving are Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You know what I mean?
Right.
But check this out. Memphis Grizzlies defensive rating without Ja Morant this season. And what's the win-loss record? I know you said it on the stream this morning.
14-2.
14-2 without Ja Morant. They have a 99.3 defensive rating.
Ridiculous.
That's not even. That's insane.
That's not real. That's video game. That can't sustain, right? And like you said, I mean, the Nets, it's fire and ice in this matchup, right? You got two of the most efficient on the opposing side of the ball. One's got to give. What are you leaning?
I mean, obviously 99 is not sustainable. We're talking like old Spurs, but I think they'll be above average defensively. To put that in context, the best defensive rating right now is like 106 by the Celtics. So,
yep.
Matter of fact, well, sometimes rating and efficiency gets lost in translation. Let me make sure I'm typing efficiency without Ja Morant. Yeah, 99. All right. So basically, what that means is they allow less than 100 points a game in 100 possessions. So, just nuts.
The point differential is crazy too. I know they played some bad teams in those games, but their average point differential is like above 17, close to 20.
Yeah, it's tough. So normally what we've done is instantly target one team total unders for the other team, and in this case, the Nets are implied for what 100 and almost 120, 100, 116, 117. I don't think any team has done that. Memphis Grizzlies, let's say, scores without Ja Morant this season. So I think it's fair for us to assume that the Nets don't score as much as they are probably implied to. But yeah, putting a little bit of substance to their defensive rating so far this season. There's not a lot of great teams. There's some Pelicans, there's some Rockets, there's some Pacers, some Thunder. So it is fair to think that Kyrie Irving, who's just been on a ridiculous tear lately, and Kevin Durant can usurp this tough defense. But I also think it's very fair to maybe not expect him to score this many points. But with that said, usage in minutes are usage in minutes. And KD and Kyrie are intriguing. And, we do love us a good narrative here. It's Kyrie's birthday, but I've seen Kyrie's face on every thumbnail on YouTube today. So I'm sure...
Is it because of his birthday, or is it just because he's hasn't played in 3 days or 3 games? And
I think it's a little bit of both. But so I don't get to watch a lot of the content, but I know when I open up, I see a lot of Kyrie Irving on thumbnails, and then it makes me talk like a robot.
I mean, I think it's just. I mean, I assume the last game he played, he had that monster game, right? And he's coming back after 3 days, and he's kind of like a dog locked up in a cage where you let him out, and he's been hungry and wants to get out there, right?
I'm still just Kyrie in the cage. Yeah,
exactly.
So what do we do with this? Red hot versus ice cold, unstoppable force, immovable object. Kyrie has a prop line of 36.5 PRA, 42 fantasy points, and the point prop is 26.5. I have him projected for 47 right now.
It went up. It opened at 25.
I'm telling you, man, the public is pushing. It's pushing.
Oh, and KD went up to 28.5. So I was actually the thing I was most keen on was KD under point prop, because the last 3 games, if this sustains this pattern, like the last 3 games, he just chills and lets Kyrie do his thing, coming back and playing on these road games. And I think he's scored under 28 points in all 3 of the recent games. So. Even putting up only 14 points. So,
let's see if we can get some on-off court tool action here for Durant and Kyrie. So I mean, if the public wants to go ahead and keep running this lineup, so that we can get like a under 30 on KD, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Let's go. Since about midway through February, let's put Kyrie and Kevin Durant on the court together. KD at 25% usage rate, Kyrie at 28% usage rate, both over 20% assist rate. But yeah, Kyrie has been the guy for fantasy, 1.5 fantasy points per minute. 60% of his shots have been from downtown, which is nuts. And that is, I mean, there's really not a point of weakness for this Grizzlies defense. I'll say no matter what, I don't think I'm going to have the warm and fuzzies just because I've been hyping up this Grizzlies defense, but it's Kevin Durant, it's Kyrie Irving. So what were you, if you had to grab one here, is it the Kyrie real points, 26.5? I'll say this, 26 is, it sounds like a lot, but I think against a good defense, Kyrie can get to the line quite a bit. We saw him hit 13 and 13 free throw attempts in 2 of his last 3 games. Another game he didn't. It was a lopsided blowout against the 76ers. So if you give him 10 points off of free throws and then you give him 20 plus field goal attempts, we just need him to get us 17 points from the field. I probably lean the real points for Kyrie, despite a metrically tough matchup. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I get it. I wouldn't make it a poor play though, just because of all the other good matchups today. And why pick on a team that has just been so efficient on the defensive side? Even though it's it's Kyrie and KD, I just don't see why risk it, right? I mean, I know the narrative's there, but yeah, I mean, if you do it, I would say it would make sense to pair it with KD under points. That could be like a pretty fruitful pairing, maybe. Because I don't know, in this matchup, I wouldn't see both of them exceeding 30 points, but anything can happen. I just think the probability is low on that.
They have Kyrie at 4.5 free throws made, so maybe that's something we can get behind if we want to. And they also have Kevin Durant at 7 free throws made. Now remember, Jaren Jackson Jr. He'll hack a hand or two, and we know teams that play tougher defenses or defensively often can correlate to high foul rates. We talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves and their defensive rating. Well, they're playing physical defense. A lot of time, physical defense is going to result in some fouls here. So maybe we target these high usage guys against defenses for free throws. And free throws, I think, is one of the prop areas where we might have a little bit more soft lines, just because when we look at the books, not a lot of books offer free throws. So
there's some good ones today that we can go over.
Okay. So yeah, I'll pencil those down. I'm with you. Nothing's scoring yet, but let's flip over to the other side. The Memphis Grizzlies without Ja Morant, certainly tons of usage to disperse. Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr., all guys that should benefit. I do become hesitant when I put a guy like Jaren Jackson Jr. across from some high usage guys that can draw some fouls, namely Kevin Durant in this scenario. But Desmond Bane, Dylan Brooks for real points are intriguing clicks for me, and then Tyus Jones, if he could stay out of foul trouble, he's been pretty efficient, and there's a lot of props for him, but he is a guy that can generate a lot of defensive peripherals, like a steal plus stuff like that. So I'm not anti looking at some fantasy point props for those type of guys. Those are the guys I like to key in on for fantasy points. It's guys that can go out there and steal and get some blocks, get those plus threes. I currently have Tyus Jones projected at 32.5 fantasy points for PrizePicks. They have the line for Tyus Jones at 28, so not a giant gap there. More efficiently priced than I thought it would be. But they got Dylan Brooks at 19.5 points, and they've got Desmond Bane at 20.5 points. So we'll go pull off that on-off court tool. Shout out to Add More Funds, NBA Wowie, and let's put Bane on the court, and let's put Brooks on the court. No one cared who he was until they took off the Ja Morant. I don't know. Anyway, sometimes he gets banged. That just didn't stick. Desmond Bane in this split. Matter of fact, we could elongate on that. Let's just go from the beginning of the season. October. Desmond Bain and Dylan Brooks have a 21% and 28% usage rate, with Brooks being on the floor side of that seesaw, and Tyus Jones, of course, a 29% assist rate in this split as well. I have Desmond Bain at 37 fantasy points, Dylan Brooks at 32. Desmond Bain has been playing a little bit more minutes on average lately. Is there anything you want to touch on the Grizzlies side here? Even the Tyus Jones assist is priced pretty high, but could we still get there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That last game he would have cleared that easily against the Rockets, but they blew him out, and so he just didn't get a full run. And that's his forte is like being the floor general and distributing. And even when Morant plays and he comes in with that second unit, they run the pick and roll very efficiently. They do the double pick and roll with Clark and Steven Adams on one side, and Tyus Jones is really good at it. So I feel really comfortable with his assist prop if the game stays close like it should, like Vegas thinks it will. So 1 or 2 point spread.
Yeah.
And so with assist props, I definitely like a full game run in a competitive game. And a guy like Tyus who's going to look to pass and set up the offense first, I like it. And then I like the idea of pairing it with Bane. Bane has been really aggressive, and like you said, he's playing the most minutes and being the majority ball handler and shooter on the team with Morant out. Even with Dylan Brooks back in the mix. I also noticed that Brooks kind of runs the second unit now when Morant's out. So I like the pairing of Desmond Bane's real point, or even his fantasy point. I mean, he has been aggressive on the defensive side and getting stocks. So you could think about his 34 fantasy point. But yeah, his 20.5 point seems reasonable, and to pair it with the Tyus Jones assist. Those are probably the two main ones I'm looking at.
I'm trying to see where Memphis ranks in free throws allowed per game. They're actually fourth. They're allowing the fourth most free throws per game, and it probably has something to do with Jaren Jackson Jr. I think it's like top 10 in fouls per 36. Let's see, highest fouls per.
I'm looking at advanced stats. It says opponent free throws allowed. They're 17th.
Free throws. Team free throw. Oh, I'm looking at. I'm dumb. You're right. I'm looking at free throws attempted. So they're 17th in free throws allowed.
Attempted.
Free throws attempted. For the other team.
Yes, for the opponent.
That's way better than I pegged him to be. But maybe that tightens up with Ja Morant being turned into Tyus Jones. Jaren Jackson Jr. second in the league in fouls for 36. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of thinking about that KD.
I like that call. I think I would lean more on the Kyrie free throw made than his point prop. I like that.
Yeah, I almost think that way with both of them.
Yeah,
but Kyrie at 4.5 seems really light for the amount of ball handling he does. Like if he's gonna take 30 shots against a good defenders, man, that seems like he's gonna draw a couple. So. Yeah, I kind of, I don't know, I'll probably jot that one down.
And especially if Seth Curry's out, if he doesn't have any outside shooters besides KD, he's going to look to drive more and pick up fouls. So
exactly. Matter of fact, let's get the update on Seth Curry. I don't know why I just broke up. You ever play like a video game and they have the announcers record bits, but when you put them together in some spots, it doesn't sound natural. It's like Brock Lesnar will face Rey Mysterio. It's just like it doesn't. That's what I just did with Seth Curry. I don't. Seth Curry left ankle considered questionable. Curry sprained his ankle Monday. All right, so definitely them Currys and them ankles, man. So if he can't go, it's that.
Yeah,
much
he didn't
more.
return to that game. He left and didn't return. So I'm leaning more that he's going to be out.
All right, cool. All right, so I'm gonna write down. Open up a notepad here. What would you say we write down? I think I'm gonna write Kyrie free. I don't know why I'm digging free throws, man. Kyrie.
I like the idea. It's a sharp call. I think that's probably the best, in my opinion. That's the best prop on the net side.
All right, and then we're gonna Tyus Jones assists in the mix.
Yeah.
And Chad, this is all just stuff that we're jotting down. It's not necessarily what we're gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. What else we got in the slate? We got the Minnesota Timberwolves, Phoenix Suns. Cat questionable. Anything you liked from this spot?
I like this game a lot.
Okay.
I mean, this should be the best game on the slate, and just in terms of competitiveness, and I think Cat's gonna. I mean, I assume Cat's gonna play. He had that same questionable tag with that bruised arm last game, and I mean, this is like this would be an awesome playoff series. I mean, these two teams, right? I mean, and I mean, in my opinion, you have the two best coaches currently, or two coaches that are running for Coach of the Year. Chris Finch. I mean, like, don't you think he should be a top candidate? I mean, the Timberwolves were 23. They won 23 games last year, and now they're on pace to win 50. That's just nuts how he turned that organization around. And they didn't make any like drastic changes besides like bolstering the bench with like Pat Bev and Taurean Prince. I mean, it's really his like whole game philosophy on playing aggressive, playing hard, playing good defense, and then just running the fast break and pushing the pace. So. And then you have Monty Williams, who, he's got a well-oiled machine in the Suns. I love this game script narrative with these two good coaches going head to head. I could see a shootout, or even if it's a somewhat defensive struggle between the two. I think it's it's going to stay close. And so all these guys, in a competitive game, have the potential to get there. I think what I was leaning towards last night that I didn't have the props was Cam Payne's assist prop if it was around 7, and it's at 7.5, so I could definitely get on that in this fast-paced environment. And then I was looking for Devin Booker's 3-point prop, and we do not have it. Okay. Well,
would you say you were campaigning for campaign?
I was campaigning for campaign, yeah. But I mean that.
Where's Emac? Shout out to
Emac. I hope they
Emac.
give us Booker's 3-point prop. I mean that's always been on their board. So, because I mean the Timberwolves take the most, or they make the most threes in the league, but they also give up threes a lot too.
Yeah.
And just naturally because there's going to be more shot opportunities in this fast-paced game. So without it, let's say if they don't post his 3-point prop, I definitely want exposure to Booker. I guess we could get on his fantasy or point prop. And then, yeah, Ayton, this is a great spot for him too, because, fast, versatile bigs definitely thrive against Cat. So I think it'll be a debate between his real point or his fantasy point for me.
For Ayton?
Yeah.
I have his fantasy at 37. That's right on par.
Yeah.
I think the lines are priced, at least on Ayton, good. And we saw last game, Ayton was getting in foul trouble, and then that opened up, JaVale McGee, Tragic Brunson. So I guess points is what, 17 out. I normally lean fantasy if I can't figure it out.
I mean, we're gonna get in trouble with free throws today. I feel it because
we really are because
the T-Wolves are what, they are ranked like bottom 2 or second. No, 1. Yeah. So geez. Yeah, I mean, so Booker's 4.5 is definitely in play, and you can even consider Ayton's 2.5 with Cat on him.
All right. 4.5 free throws on Devin Booker.
Yeah,
does seem a little light. Does seem a little light.
Oh man,
not gonna lie.
I don't want to go down this road, man.
We're too far gone. No tournament. We're the Hulk end of Hulk scene. T-Wolves allow the most free throws per game this season. They are above Detroit, Portland, Houston, Washington, Indiana, and then of course you put context though. Minnesota's also double down with great defense and a fast pace. So it's not just hacking for the sake of hacking, but I guess for the sake of trying to find some lower lines. I guess Cameron Payne's at 1.5 threes. You mentioned how they get into shootouts, fast pace, and then you might paint a picture where Patrick Beverley tries to turn Devin Booker into Luka Doncic. You know what I mean? And Payne has to pick up a little bit. They have Ayton's double prop. Don't bet that right now because his rebounds is at 9.5, and it makes no sense to get on that. The Devin Booker free throws 4.5 seems really really low for his shot volume. I can get behind that.
Yeah, I would say, all right, that'd probably be the target right now for Booker. But let's keep an eye out for his 3-point prop. If they drop it, then that would be my favorite prop.
All right, Devin Booker.
And as of right now, it's
free throws.
free throw. Yeah, and then campaign's 7.5 assists.
All right,
Like
Payne 7.5 assists. 7.5 assists from Mr. Payne. Isn't that crazy? So Minnesota, they're so spread out that I don't know that I'm gonna have a warm and fuzzy strong number one. There is a Q tag on Cat. I'm pretty sure he's gonna play. He's been playing, but I will try and get an update here. Yeah, I guess he's fine. So a full strength T-Wolves team on a big slate. Is there anything that you want to get exposure to?
Yeah, I don't see any props, so it's hard because they're gonna wait on the Cat official news. So it's kind of hard to make a call on that. But I mean, Cat, it's a great spot for him. Ayton, I think they're gonna go at it, and they can't stop each other. And yeah, I mean, Cat's averaging since the All-Star break 27 points a game. He's playing lights out, so should keep it up.
Shout out to Cameron Hallett in chat. Says Cade points or PRA.
It's a good question.
It is an amazing question.
I really like the spot for him. I like it a lot.
Pistons, Cade Cunningham. They have 20.5 points against Atlanta. I feel like
he's doing everything. He's putting the whole team on his back.
He
right?
is, but Jeremy Grant's back, right? And that stretches a little bit of usage. So probably, if I want, usually I throw a blink because I know he's involved in everything, like literally everything. So I probably not want to limit myself to any one spot. Maybe 33.5 PRA does seem attackable. I also have him at 44 to 45 PRA. What the is that? I've never in my life heard noise on the other side of this wall. I guess there's a tractor cleaning up wreckage. I don't know. So I got him at like 5 points above in my projections on their fantasy line. And then, of course, PRA is probably pretty live as well. What do I got on Cunningham PRA? I've got him at 31, so that's not really a gap there. I actually have him under, but I'll take the fantasy points, though.
Man, what? We need to hit up PrizePicks, man, because on the video last night I was like, all right, I want Booker's 3-point prop, I want Sadiq Bey's 3-point prop, and those have been like gold standards all season, and they're both not on the board.
Some people, I think they'll come. That's the annoying part of NBA, and it's not PrizePicks fault and not anybody's fault. Even just like trying to create content. Yesterday I was trying to throw betting picks. NBA is so moving, like it's so many moving pieces, so much volatility that baseball is going to be a warm welcome because there's probably going to be lines that are there all day that don't really move. Hopefully. Let me get caught up on chat a little bit more. Chat, we are thumbing today. I guess it's okay to run a little over if we have to, since we're both on the next show. Let's see. What's up, Juan Balderas? They're starting to release Warriors props. I'm not sure what I would get behind with confidence on the Warriors.
Don't even ask me, man.
I guess Jordan Poole points would be something, right? If he catches that that Tyler Hero defense all day. Steve Leibowitz is still trying to figure out how the Wolves are playing good D now. Huge change. Then again, you could say the same about the Celtics. Yeah, Celtics really flipped the switch after December. I mean, you look at what the Celtics were doing before December. There was team meetings and public meltdowns and coach calling out players. And then since then, they really locked up. So I don't know if Marcus Smart just put the locks on the gym doors and said, we figuring this out right now. And Dennis Schroeder, you got to go. You got to go. But
defense is a mentality thing, a lot of it, right? So if you just got to get locked in.
Mockwall says wrong game, but Murray free throw only 3. Dude, it's the free throw day of the free throws.
I know that free throw prop. Oh man, that's so enticing.
What up, Skimmer? What up, Carlos? Gun's mind was just blown. Oh, it stinks too. I guess they're cutting grass on the other side. That Carter taco gave me some serious heartburn. Yeah, Wendell Carter, slow boogie, man, slow boogie. Fancy Cruncher just made some updates. Yeah, Cruncher put out a lot of updates yesterday. Really, really good stuff. And I'm excited to use a lot of it, especially the new thumbs up thing, where you can kind of tweak it instead of just being 8%. You can go up and down from that. How about that LaMelo and Jeremy Grant rebound props? Smart PRA. All right, let's tackle. We must spot the Mavericks and Rockets.
Yeah.
Right? We have to talk about this game.
Yeah.
No Luka Doncic, huge, and then the Rockets are the Houston Rockets, and without Luka, we could certainly spread out an incredible amount of minutes and usage. I guess we could run an on-off court tool, but we know it's going to be Jalen Brunson, Spencer Dinwiddie, and maybe my boy Dwight Powell.
There's probably there's probably only one game probably that Luka has missed since Dinwiddie's been there, though, right?
And that they're both So I mean we'll we'll try and collect minutes that they played together with Luka out. So let's just put Brunson, Dinwiddie on, Luka off. Let's see what we get. You get what you get. Scott says, do you guys tend to focus on a couple of tight games on a big slate when making your cards? So you look at all the games. Yeah, I mean, the hot spots are the hot spots. Like you said, this far into the season, we know who we're looking to attack. It's the Rockets, the Pacers, the Hornets, the Spurs games, stuff like that. And then as other stuff develops, news drops, stuff like that's my process at least. Usually I look for who's out. All right, what can I take advantage? Like Julius Randle's out. All right, what are they giving me on RJ Barrett, so on and so forth. But yeah, some of these team defenses that play fast-paced style is certainly. Is this going to be a thing with the grass? You hear that, right? It's ridiculous. I'm just open my window and shake my fist.
Sounds like you got like machine robots out there.
Like you think a helicopter's landing over here, bro. What? Lawnmowers are different. Oh, there's some dude sitting in a. Anyway. God dang, bro. Amigo.
Oh yeah, I mean you're totally spot on with that process. That seems to be like the most beneficial way to go.
Yeah, 30% usage rate this season while Dinwiddie's on the court with Brunson and Luka's off the court. Not a ton of sample size behind that, but it at least gives us a starting point. Brunson at 26%. The rest of the team, as you might expect, into the teens to low teens. So I think as Brunson and Dinwiddie go, so will the Dallas Mavericks tonight. They are still pretty decent favorites, all things considered, 10.5. That's incredible. But metrically, if you talk about team philosophies, you talked about defensive philosophy and being a team thing. But the Dallas Mavericks, as a team, play at the slowest pace in all of basketball, while the Houston Rockets play a top 2 pace in all of basketball. So we get extra implied possessions. And we know Brunson can go, we know Dwight Powell can go, and we know Spencer Dinwiddie has played on some faster paced teams.
What was their assist rate?
Assist rate was 30% for Dinwiddie, 25% for Brunson. So a lot of hot potato there. Hey. Yo, I appreciate that follow, Tyreek Williams, man. Welcome to the channel.
Yo, they didn't give us Reggie Bullock. How are you going to give us Reggie Bullock real points and not his 3-point prop? It's like all his points come from him.
So what did they have, 9.5 or 14.5? God damn. Yeah.
Come on.
It would be 3.5. So let's talk about Dwight Powell. I'm kind of tied to Dwight Powell as of late. So I was all over Dwight Powell the last time these two teams faced, and Dwight Powell had like a Shaq-istic first half where it was nuts, man. It was like absolutely dominating on the glass. They had like 20 rebounds or something like that in here we go again. I'm really about to yell at some dude.
Are you talking about the last time they played the Rockets?
Yeah. He had 12 rebounds, 26 points, 50 fantasy points in the game. Yeah. Played 32 minutes that game. So in that game, I think DFS was out, or Reggie Bullock was out. I don't remember the exact lineup, but what I do know...
DFS was out, I think. I remember that now. Yeah.
Yeah, and Marquise Chris was not back yet. So I was like, man, I think Dwight Powell can get 30 minutes. You look at a couple games before that, there was some foul trouble, there were some blowouts. I was like, man, I really think you can get 30 minutes. And I was honest, it was like, you give me 30 minutes of a cheap center against the Rockets. I think I'm in on that. I know Dwight Powell this year, historically, I like him in pace-up spots. Amen Mulugeta, appreciate that sub. I hope I said your name somewhat correctly. But in the last couple of games, so I had the same thought. I was like, okay, maybe Dwight Powell and pay some spots is what I want, right? Maybe this is the Serge Ibaka of this season. And against the Hornets, I was like, the Hornets are kind of pace up. All right, what do we do here? Well, I played some Dwight Powell against the Hornets, and you know what happened? Do you? Well, one, we lost all the fourth quarter. Dwight Powell only got 21 minutes. And then secondly, Marquise Chris was like part of the rotation and got a little bit of run in the first quarter. But I guess looking at it a little bit deeper, Chris got the bulk of his minutes in the final fourth quarter. So I wonder if Chris is that much of a detriment. I guess it is a 10.5 point spread. Because then the following game against Minnesota, another fast-paced game, Marquise Chris didn't touch the floor. And it was Dwight Powell for 26 minutes.
That was a competitive game till the end.
Yeah, and Powell fouled out. So I say all that to say this. Like, I like the thought of Dwight Powell yet again. But I do wonder what exactly is Marquise Chris's role here.
Oh man, I thought this would be like one of your go-to plays today.
I'll say this.
No,
putting more context to there not being a fourth quarter in that game makes me feel a little bit better. But I'm thinking Dwight Powell 7 rebounds is probably the line that I like the most.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I guess we gotta wait for fantasy score.
Yeah, I was gonna say if they drop a fantasy point,
what do you have them at?
I have them at 26. Let's see, I got Claybach, Chris. Yeah, I got him at 26, so I don't think we're going to line too far from that. But I'm also willing to come up off of this 22-minute projection. I literally don't know. I just don't know what they're doing with that front court because Maxi Claybach exists, and this is a lineup that could end up being smaller. So I like the thought, right? I like the thought of Dwight Powell. I do. But if they gave me a fantasy projection of like under 25, I'd probably roll the dice on it. Because I do think when it's like tighten the screws on minute projections.
What if we do his first half fantasy point prop? What is his first half rotation like? If you're worried about that fourth quarter run,
that's a good point. Last game, first half for Dwight Powell, he saw 8.5 minutes his first quarter run, 7.5. So
that's good.
15 minutes there. The game prior, 6, almost 7 and 7, so another 14.5, 15 minutes against the Sixers. Dwight Powell, 7 and 10. So it looks like 15 minutes is at least a baseline expectation.
Yeah.
So if we do Powell first half, they're going to give us 6.5 real points. But if they give us a fantasy point prop,
they should. Yeah, they should once they drop the full prop. Yeah.
If it's at, less than 14, we take a shot?
Yeah, because, I mean, in this matchup, you got to think that he's got to be, like, a fantasy point?
Per minute, if not greater,
Yeah.
High blocks, high everything.
As long as he can stay out of foul trouble, like, that would be the only concern. Like,
did we just get Malcolm Brogdon out? Is that what chat says? Shout out to chat.
Are you serious?
Yeah, Malcolm Brogdon listed as out.
Oh, my gosh.
So we don't know Halliburton yet either, right? So...
He's got to play. Come on. If he plays and
is Lance Stevenson
just sit everybody and just play Halliburton.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if Halliburton's in now, Halliburton is live for like 15 assists. I mean, hey, if they give us the Brogdon news but not Halliburton news, I don't know what that's associated with. But maybe that's a good sign. And then Buddy Hield, PRA. Buddy Hield was playing mad minutes.
Yeah,
and it's a revenge game.
Yeah, Buddy Hield and Halliburton. I mean, Halliburton, it's more of a revenge. I guess they were both drafted by the Kings, so yeah.
Okay, so back to the Mavericks, and we'll have to adjust that.
I had to erase Brogdon. I had him on there thinking in case Halliburton was out.
You got that OnlyFans sub chalkboard?
Yeah.
You guys get the diamond tier, and I write your name on the board. The Twitch bikini stream.
Throw my cat in there.
All right. So on top, we talked enough about Dwight Powell. What are we doing? Are we taking everything Brunson and Dinwiddie? It looks like Dinwiddie is the guy with the
Yeah.
But I think they're both. I think Jalen Brunson could get 25 points. I think Dinwiddie can get 25 points. I think I could find this game again. Here we go. And if I go back to the full slate on the Mavericks, Brunson's at 19.5 points. Dinwiddie is at 20.5, but he's at 6.5 assists. So against the Rockets, I mean, both those numbers seem attackable. I guess if we're just worried about who's really gonna win the battle of ball handling, maybe we hold out for the fantasy points.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting dueling 40-point projections on Brunson and Dinwiddie, and I feel like looking at this PRA, I mean, I guess 32.5. It could be like a 35, 36 for Dinwiddie, and then on Brunson they have him at 29.5 PRA, so that's probably going to be closer to like 33, 34. Yeah. So I'd probably take a stab at both of the overs. We have to worry about the blowout, but Christian Wood's been playing better as of late. But
this is the time he would let you down. If you get on him now after this little hot streak, that's Christian Wood for you.
All right, so I'm going to say let's hold out for
until we get
fantasy points. Yeah. Mavericks.
Yeah, because it's the Rockets. You want those stocks on them, right?
First half. And then we might even think about first half props on the Dinwiddie and whatnot. And then if Reggie Bullock 3-point prop opened up.
Yeah.
I'm just getting insane minute projections this early from them.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to chuck it from the corner 3, so.
Buddy was drafted Buddy was drafted by the Pelicans and traded for Cousins, right?
Yeah.
Lakers and Sixers, this TV game, right?
Wait.
Wait.
Yeah, I guess there's nothing worth talking about in the Rockets. Yeah.
Christian Wood is I swear to goodness. Every time I look up the last couple games, and then I know he's gonna sucker me into it. And the game that I get on Christian Wood, he's gonna foul out in 8 minutes. Alperen Şengün and Kenyon Martin are gonna explode. I just some guys have made the list with less than 3 weeks left, and Christian Wood is borderline now. I'll get my DFX exposure, but
that's why he wasn't drafted. He was supposed to be a first-round draft pick out of UNLV, and he just went off the board. People said they question his motivation and his mindset, and I do as well as a fantasy bettor too. So,
I question the motivation and mindset of all of the viewers who haven't hit that thumbs up. That's what I question, man. 25 likes, 90 plus viewers, man. Hit that thumbs up. Help us out. Lakers and Sixers. This is on TV, right? So we get LeBron James, Russell Westbrook up against Harden and Joel Embiid. Embiid and Harden rested their last game against the Heat, and Maxey stole a win for him. And this game got the bright lights. It is a 7.5-point spread, and I know there's a lot of Lakers fans that are re-energized after this recent Cavs and Raptors games, but we might get back down to earth here. Do we like this game? Do you like Joel Embiid? So I think Embiid is always interested me in TV games with that MVP race going on, and this is really a plus spot. I'm going to assume that this is going to be the Dwight Howard, Wenyen Gabriel lineup, go a little bit bigger against Toby and Joel Embiid. So just something I'm projecting, but I'm willing to be wrong. I just don't really think it makes sense for LeBron to match up with Embiid off the rip. Is there any lines that came out that you're willing to target?
They have Embiid at 9.5 free throws. That's crazy low. That's crazy low for him, man. I mean, we've seen him at 11.5 at one point this season. Yeah. Oh man. I mean, so the Lakers. I mean, we know that they foul a lot, but I mean, Embiid, like you said, I like him in these type of games. All the stars are going to be out tonight. The only issue is the blowout potential. Yeah. And Embiid has a weird first half rotation. I always remember. I don't know if it's changed recently, but he tends to not have those big monster first halves. So I would.
I think he play the whole first quarter and then a little in the second. I feel like that's what I remember.
Yeah, Harden gets a lot of run in the second quarter with Embiid on the bench. So
he usually plays. Looking at the last game, he played the entire first quarter. Let me put a little bit more stank on that first quarter. He's getting a decent chunk in the first half lately. Last 3 games, Embiid plays essentially the whole first quarter and the second half of the second quarter, but sometimes it's not until the half of the second quarter. But he does get almost the whole first quarter every game, so it's not that weird.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, because Embiid and Harden are just both in great spots. Like, one of them could just go get hot, and then it would really hurt the other one. Obviously,
assist and points correlated, right?
Yeah,
Harden is at 10.5 assists.
That 10.5 assist prop, you're gonna want a full game. And I'm scared of the Lakers.
Hey, I mean, you said Embiid's 9.5 feels low. 7.5 for Harden's also pretty low, and
yeah, it's Harden.
Wenyen Gabriel's shown a couple of. He started against the Raptors and got like 3 fouls in the first 8 minutes. So whether it be Embiid or Harden, it's not necessarily something I'm running away from.
Yeah, but you want a full game for that, for both of their free throw props too. Just the odds of getting.
I gotta get rods on one of your shoulders right now, man. Go James at home TV. Lakers turning around.
How many times have we said that this year, right? How many times have we said, "Oh, this is a national televised game," which a lot of Lakers games are, and we're like, "At home, Lakers, LeBron's got this," and they lose by 30. I mean, didn't they? These two teams have already played, and I think the 76ers won by like 20 points, and I think that was without Harden.
I'm willing to be a realist here. This slate's so big that, let's be honest, we're not getting discounts on Harden. Like, no one's out, right, for these lines to be super inefficient. So we're just really trying to create a narrative and be happy with playing studs on a big slate. We don't have to force something here if we don't want to.
Yeah, and I mean, and if you are going to play these guys, you would want to play LeBron, hoping that, I mean, he's going to be the reason they stay close. But the issue is that if they do run that Gabriel, Dwight Howard lineup, that kills LeBron's offensive production. I saw a stat line. I don't remember the exact stats. I'm not going to repeat it all, but it was this year with LeBron running, starting at the 5, he's like twice as more effective offensively than he is when Dwight Howard is playing center or someone else is at the 5. And especially when you have Wayne Gabriel in there, because you're basically just taking away shooters away from him, and that's not opening up the floor for him to drive and kick it and run the offense.
What if it's just one? Like, didn't they go LeBron and Gabriel against the Raptors, but not Dwight? Let me double check that. I might be lying.
Oh, but Embiid's gonna just absolutely
right. I like, no matter what. I don't think like if there's a spot to start Dwight. Oh yeah, okay. They started both against the Raptors, so you're right. I don't know, man. LeBron is just LeBron, so I don't want like. There hasn't been but 2 games of that split, so I wouldn't overrate LeBron James not being effective against Harden and Embiid on TV just because Wenyen Gabriel's out there for 20 minutes. But I could see it at least logistically makes sense to take away from his like rebounds, right? That makes sense.
His rebound and his assist potential, and just like overall just having open floor, because when he has shooters around him and not Dwight Howard and Gabriel, it just opens things up for him more. So
okay, I don't expect Gabriel to play deep minutes no matter what. I don't think he can last.
He'll probably be in foul trouble like in the first quarter and on Embiid and Harden.
And the same with Howard, to be honest. So LeBron James 6 assists feels kind of light, so I'm gonna jot that down. I'm not gonna put any action on it just yet, but 6 assists seems kind of light, and that's it. I do think, generally speaking, though, this game isn't. There's nothing for these lines to be inefficient and feel like there's a drastic edge here, so I'm not gonna force it. And then the last game on this slate, 10 p.m. We got or one of the last games, Blazers hosting the Spurs. This is a 9.5 point spread. I know we were pretty privy to the thought of DeJounte Murray against this Blazers defense without Doug McDermott, without Walker, guys like that. Were you happy with the lines that were dropped for DeJounte Murray? They gave us 51 fantasy points. I've got a 53 fantasy point projection, so it's not a giant gap, and we are wrestling with, does this game stay close? The Blazers are predictably unpredictable. They are without Josh Hart today again. And then we saw that last slate where we thought, it was like, oh man, the Pistons might actually get a free win here. Well, the Portland Blazers didn't roll over, and the San Antonio, as bad as the Blazers' defense has been, San Antonio's defense is not great either, and they pushed the pace. So, do you still like some Murray access tonight? What do you like?
So last night in the video I said they didn't have it available, his free throw prop, and I thought it was going to be around 4.5, and they have it at 3. That's probably the most appealing to me because I've been watching. I hate to admit this, but I've been watching the Blazers game last couple games. It's not fun. I don't recommend it.
Your wife walks in on you watching a Blazers game. You have to quickly pretend like you're watching porn. No! I was watching porn. No, that better not be a Blazers game. You sick freak. What are you doing? It's not what you think. It's Chauncey Billups.
But I mean, I have to watch it. I have to know what's going on because you can't just look at the box score for the Blazers. Like you said, they're just so unpredictable.
Yeah.
But there is one thing that's very predictable about them is they just foul. That's all they do. And their entire team will foul out, just like the Pistons. That Pistons Blazers game. It had it had a total of 60 fouls and like 6 guys in foul trouble. 1 guy fouled out. They're gonna get to the foul line. It's just like, is Murray gonna get there enough, and is he gonna make his free throws? That's always a concern. But I was hoping for a Keldon Johnson free throw prop. I don't see it, but yeah, I would rank DeJounte's free throw prop first, and then I'm going to roll the dice and hope the Blazers can keep it close. And I'm going to roll the dice with his fantasy point. Because, the Blazers also, young guys out there, G League guys, they're going to turn the ball over. And, DeJounte, he's going to get his steals. Pirtle, it's a great spot for him, but you got Zach Collins coming off the bench, and he has a little motivation in this revenge spot. What do you think? We probably should just stay away from him, right?
Yeah, I have been. It is starting to get to that point of the season where some of these guys on some of these teams I'm not too enthused with, and the Spurs are kind of hanging in there. But the Blazers are what are they doing? And a lot of these teams like the Blazers, these guys are playing for jobs in the future. Some of these guys on 10-day contracts or 2-way deals, stuff like that. They're trying to get noticed. I'm probably only on DeJounte here, and if I wanted to get to like maybe a Devin Vassell, Real Point, or something like that, here and there, I drop it. It's we call it the rage bets at the end of the night when we're losing the first half. Maybe I get into Vassell, Real Point, or something like that. But from this far out, there's nothing that's egregiously screaming my name. And then Drew Eubanks egregiously screaming names just like your wife when she catches you breaking down Brandon Williams and Justice Winslow film.
So if I'm going to play DeJounte's fantasy point, I'm going to run it back with guys like Eubanks or Watford. Watford, he's racking up stocks, and he's aggressive on defense. Mm-hmm. But with that being said, he's racking up fouls as a result. So... you're rolling the dice. You're going to get those stocks, but you're also going to run the risk of fouling out. But I like him. He plays hard. With Josh Hart out, I feel like he kind of fills that role a little bit. So I like his 30 fantasy point for his stocks.
For Watford?
Yeah.
All right, I got my 35. So let's jot that down on the list.
Yeah. And then what about Eubanks? What do you like for him? Revenge game.
Drew Eubanks. I have Eubanks at 36. Did they?
That's pretty good.
What they dropped him at? Eubanks is at 29, so I get a 6-point gap. So I want to put these guys in the mix, but I don't want to spend. I don't want to put my money on the Blazers on a big slate, but I'll have them in the mix in case I do have to. All right, chat and do we want to touch on anything else? I will remind you guys we're immediately following this. We're gonna restart the stream from DFS point of view. However, we're still going to go game by game, break down everything, and we're still going to kind of keep props in mind. So while it's not specifically only prop betting, we will still be around talking some basketball. So you might be able to pull some gems out as news develops. But I feel like we might have neglected a few spots. It's this big of a slate. The Hawks and Pistons, I guess, would be the spot that I was kind of most interested in. And I think that it all kind of what's the status of Bogdan Bogdanovic. If he gets rolled out, I'm willing to go just about anything Trae Young, especially real points on Trae Young.
Free throws too.
Yeah, free throws too. But Trae Young, I mean, think about how many points are off the table with no Gallo, no John Collins, and potentially no Bogdanovic. I think 30, 40 real points is there, and they have Trae Young at 28.5 real points. So I certainly like that. He had like 27 in the first half yesterday, right? The Garden's a little bit different, but something to keep in mind. And then
he had like 15 free throws too, right?
Yeah, it was
He's turning into James Harden 2.0 with this free throws.
And then we'll have to adjust for this Pacer stuff. So I'll do a projection sweep here. But is there anything that we missed that you wanted to mention?
Game-wise? Or,
just like a play on PrizePicks.
Oh, let me double check.
Kyrie over 1.5 blocks. It still says Hater Ronzo. Shout out to Hater Ronzo. Hey, chat, you guys out here, 120 of you guys hanging out. Two things. Hit that thumbs up. Secondly,
Kings. We forgot the Kings.
All right.
Shoot. Do we have time, or should we wait till the next?
We didn't really have.
We have the lines.
Oh, we do now. Okay, so
yeah.
I mean, I'd probably
that's gonna take some time. I feel like to dive into if you want to wait.
Okay. Well, I'll say on the surface, I think Davion Mitchell and Trey Lyles would be two guys that I like a lot. And then we'll definitely I don't want to say deep dive this stuff. We'll definitely dive a little deeper on the next show. But yeah, chat, hit that thumbs up, and if you want to keep the conversation going past these live streams, in the description below is a link to a free, 100% free Discord. Get in there and join the community, man. I'm watching it grow. It's what, 2 or 3 weeks old, and I just look over at night, and you guys are dang near as active, getting to the point where you're as active as the premium Discord. So get in there. Shout out to all you guys that have joined in the last day or two. H Tizzle Sports, Callow, NM, St. August Sports Cards, King Jones, Mike B, Harold Nash jumped in here, Wood Pony, ECW. Shout out to you guys. Get into that, and so what we're going to do now, chat, is we're going to flip the switch here. We're going to end this stream, but we're going to be right back. If you stick around, you leave this page open, it's going to bring you to the next stream, and me and Josh are going to re-sweep a couple projections here and talk about each game a little bit more in depth, and we'll have we have a 2-hour window on that show, but we've already eaten 5 minutes into that. So you guys want to stick around, we're going to keep the conversation going. But if you're out of here, man, I appreciate your time as is, and I hope you crush it tonight. Twitter.com/Kundacker. But we'll be right back, chat. For those of you out of here, good luck, God bless, and go win some money.
I'm doing it. I'm adding Trey Lyles to the board.
Don't, what? God dang it.
Your model's broken for him.
It is, because there's no Sabonis.
And it's the Pacers.
It is.